Those neon lights drawn me like a moth to a flame. Well, you can walk out the door and leave me here if you want to. 'Cause here I have all my friends to stay with me. Fire road keeps taking me away. Fire road keeps calling my name. Headed down.
Kisigi Horoya, Denebanant, Dr. Boo Nygren, Hujit, the Mon out later Thursday, Horohada, Kisigi. A Yahan, Kedini, the late Hadishi Besha Tratidits, Aigido, Hadishi, Nes old Wolf, the better to be in Nish Caslote, Hadishi, than not any gay Yahan, Kedini, the last year shit in Hodo, Hanan Kitchenish, to Hojishis, Anagi, the Hon, Nesigi, which Bedini, Nishigi, Beni Natchet Nikas Ada Hosanagi, Yahad, to let to Hadishindo, Nanishlit, oh, that's it. How one at Dasne, to Teen, there's a bede, no snish, old Kadat, the Nossen, those Chinias, the Aro old Kada, no Senegi, Hada Okista, Shato Nisha, Oto Ebony Natchip, Cashin, the Nebenant, Haila Nila, the neck at Chayat, Higida. Abinish, Anito Horonic, Nashne, Ebe, Hen, Kidini, the late Kachiha Hodoljish. Upcoming holidays, appreciation days, Yatanda, Wednesday was Administrative Professional Day. The Danashi Hao Ado E Aj, Nahanda and Nishigim, the Hodonat Ani, Jilnido, Na Nishtashani, Yis, Watligi, a hot end the Ahwich, the Nenkakan, Das Wodo, Nal Sostada, the Jato, Besh Haneda, Yen, Das Roidi, a Beninachet, Nkanan, Shidel, and again, Hair, the Bedi Nido, Behoni, to Ahwich, not Ani, the Jalon to Art and Benjil Nishta, a hot end, Nahadel, Nishigi, Shadel, Nishigi, that, and again, Ebony Nachep, Tahojodo, Yitanel, Ado, Hate, all that they shorten Sakis, Yidanet, Loy, and Nahi. Slashi, Shehodet, the Nebenant Abbas Anje, Ndahos Nesatem, Ado, Hoden Kanahanda, Kato, Shata Enishida, but he's not the house Nehim. A He, the Bedini, the Shata Enishigido, administrative assistants all across the Nebekea, but Kao, Head, and Hidi, the John Hen, Hini Nachip, Huijin, Jono, Tahunit, Ahegi, Nebeni Nachip, a death no, they need Nishwin, Zino. Hoto, Wednesday was Administrative Professional Day. Aruna Kigone, local announcements. Congratulations to Monica Yazi, crowned Miss Indigenous ASU, Saturday, down Tashin Ketseth Kenton Lo, Miss Yazi, but no, Monica Yazi, Arizona State Sun Devils, Miss Indigenous, but don't need a Bikahodi Nido, Kachi, but Shajat, and Hoja, and Hata Osthaigi, Basan Zido, Lechodo, Nideshi, Hoto, Sun Devil Nation, Asia Hoto, Juno, you have a new Miss Indigenous, was crowned Miss Monica Yazi. Congratulations. Sashin Ketsudo, that's in Canella at order, she can await that order, Hoto, a head and Hildi Nation, Junota, no Sado, Beninachin, ASU, Dobachin, Tiji had Nenigi, and Juno Yana Rado Lish. Aldo Nanigi in-dot outreach events at chapters across the Navajo Nation. Le Shata Inishigi Atkin, Bata Inishigi, Le Tratnas, the Lobasan has Anigi Beskitan Dahodil, Neto, Hate, Ola Hajon, Neto, Bakao, the Nil Nishto Listan, Nenigi. May 8th, Tonalia chapter, May 9, Rock Point chapter, May 10, Chinley chapter, May 13, Sanasti. May 14, Crown Point NTU, Eshi Ad, Naidish Kilto, Atin, the Honesigido, Haila Benina, Do Hajo, the daughter, Do Haila Benina, Atin, Do Habin, understand of so Naidish Kilton of Sonship, Ad, Tahun Londolis. Nanagi, missing Navajo people from Shiprock District, 32-year-old Ryan Tom, last seen June 11, 2022, Red Mesa Chapter House. Kadate, Kushi, Ndez, Jehabatan, Kado, Bekadan, Lenigi, Hajla, Yahat, no, Shinda Oka. In Kispahos and Oshe, Torches, allow, but has Anigi, but Jintahadosne, 505-368-1350. Adohone, Nanagi, Kayenta District, 31-year-old Jarvis Saltwater Jr., last seen January 5th, 2023. Stada Zetan de Zedam, sloa honanat on kisbata hosen a todnesh so lao because anagi pichita hodosle 928-697-5600. Auto the ne banda house zenigi located Navajo people. Jaden Russell has been located and he is safe. He was reported missing April 2nd, Shiprock, New Mexico. She hot o she habit nest do bana host zin no she gabek etrate natza. Kare nahol jeshigi Navajo life lesson. Be careful with the words that you speak. They she hot on cast tweedon hizani don can bini nachishito at zao ya just kita. Din hizado hate oran side KCZY bini nache hajodo le khatnenegi joting in the ne a which in kikita des ido a which in the yin hins enegi bini nache Tao holia to aro at zaoyan ke khatnenegi eshi hot on jono nan kinas kita ben khista ho ne hui kad hode this gene shita tim ben that not kenegi bini nache eshi oro Navajo life lesson. Be careful with the words that you speak. Just bini nache astrido sani da ni sashi to at za he da hot obach ha jotzi sa Lin jono batso da hodes and do a charge so the zinda patal yaudat ho yanda kitch hundo nebin nache ebin nache hajoya das kito hajo nahat ato hajo nsa KCZY ede betat north kalon jono ha ishin is do lich ebin nache hajoyan skigidon sin KCZY bin nache Hodliga Nanigi she hot oh Navajo life lesson dolish. Aldo hone nanigi a few of the week's accomplishments. The benada ashnisto haila anada the ben in actually the Navajo Washington because anigi Hojoya the Navajo Nation acquires Goulding's Lodge in Monument Valley. Nal sos njano belana asli to hajo hadaliado kade the Navajo Washington jano nais ni nidole a large shanal nashi Division of Natural Resources Director Mike Colonna Monticello but na aswodo sato nal sos huin naja do beni nache on the hidole hodot ni Goulding's Lodge Stagecoach Restaurant RV Park and Campground. The hohot 8 October and bez ani besmas ansiche da labe khadish labe la sasle 152 room lodge and facilities aldo bininacha nahaz negi peso Washington ya nahin tehegi $7 million ya nain dateless ebe da nish do bininacha da di hwa de nebe ke bakha khait ola na da dos nish khanegi hore be khanast do sin tsha gon kiche na hot do khayut ne shaka do with na dan zenegi hot hodot nebe Washington dos los khanegi peso ya nahin tehigiro peso etel enegi lao de ap ashwa bohonetza ebeni na hodo shenhat ato shata eneshigi hui jinda badishni khait la peso etel enegiro peso ya nahin tehigi lao te hoda dil ne sei ebeni na chidi ndahil negi beni na seshas ya to Sashi naho jeshosin honahot or peso ya nahin tehgin horoshin ben kilnada hoidin hot en asta khare nezatin hone lat ne are del nishge ben na nishata holoro le jo di hodobe khanas sit nebeke bakao hojoni to ode da nzgade khade shint nen nata khanda galdo ben nache da hot enegi ebeni nache peso del indol khanenegi Mr. Waylon Lafont bandahil ni le atanen lo eshin jno this din sta na khayeta nais ni to ya halian do beni nachikadhe cheti ya to kashi de nebchi khodo li saroshi kanke na nishda in ro khodo no dahil nigi shasiat to nakis kanda shi ad Monticello Herman Daniels Auto So hot ad kinant ad and launch ad atkanda kandem to meet with advocates and sign proclamation for Navajo Nation Child Abuse Prevention Month. Len da nishan da the Nebo Washington Beshba has Anna Betaho Kinsa Anagi Nal so Scottish proclamation hat no the Beshbans Anna Lange yes at Tahagi do Ado stop Beshbans an Honorable Amber Crowdy Ado so Lester Yazi that Nigi Why as Chinyas ba Yanagi do as Chinyas do Kel de Hajob Yat do Hajob Kate no Tedo a yo nisa de Lange and da Jono dadno selto betrata hostel do ben sahakes betrata hostel an nehido no ado social services a large shanal nishigi Thomas Cody echo atra ad banda nishigi do atra le Navajo Museum do Navajo Council Chambers eshi an honetje do hajo beni nachet do le no ye Jono Satasit Ni do a Hoddo Nito Division of Family Services 5,000 do Hone la Astuido Amado Chinias Yakadat with a hohot 1 year every Nacha Bena Nishtan Sagido which Ajida Das Nishigi Hadoli John Cashin Biki no E don Cashinda Jono the no sail don Jono Stuido Sani Yat ehigito lesh no bansata keski hajo a large hatnanigi sad but ho da in the shenda audohone nanigi a Navajo woman warrior received keys to her new home Jedito Arizona. This was a son-in-law do a man-law do self-law she said bina salat so US Navy at law Operation Enduring Freedom hatnanigi beninache hot also last son dina hoten and list that say bina khaydan Chicago was there's neither one be Chicago was not so khaydi la aro I kit on na so hot eda so be lazli do how one babet is nisado the mobis Canada Monday ibn yajadu it had shahne since God baganla Bamado, Shadido, Sabashindo, Bakade, and Lenny Juanjano, her one bitch, Holiagido, Dadel, Cash, the keys at Energy, Bait Nilo, Barn, Kistahojo, Joe Hohod, Ada, a start as it, how one thing is Salah, so, but Yagi Barn, Kistahojo. 3-bedroom home at in the Shantin Dabi that the cistern system of that Enigido 1,200 square feet Hawan Yat Egido Hawan Sagi Bicholia si ban Kistahojo Horob we Jimben kitchen Hanaste Le Hawan etas Negis si ta illness stand 600,000 700,000 that's 800,000 Kheshe hone la hawan nahis dos nehinel anigipin nacha bahid lenigi ya hota dil nisto ashro apohone zado le khatnenigi hoto hawan slapach holia do yo ilnid and then do dibin Southwest Indian Foundation Gallup do besen dil nisho hodo hawan la nikes last so be baka as wadigit ado dishin hona hot he khatti no standard nezatin honela hawan ta dil ni sebi nache do peta nil khale hoto hawan da negi ishin hodo ben kisnahash netolil aro major projects I'm working on the na nish beta inishigi the New Mexico yo toje bethaho zoje at large atin yenaz nishigi Cabinet Secretary Ricky Cerna hot le shanad nishigi tampatero het ola hajos kisinda dil nishto Josa the Nebo Washington teen bedet it dosa yo toje ha zoje teen bedet egin Hajoto le no Hisindahas net only in 371 junction intersection improvements 1.5 million bahodo lehigi state of New Mexico is 750,000 be short that need on Navajo Nation gaming 375,000 out on hin hodon khas anigi 375,000 be deal di hajo askes na anish khatnenigi Jo ebeni na jashin jono atkin hwal chedos netley khut khat bi gat khaz anigi kad le nal sos no ta she hodina goshi staten dol sosto be la de shleton jono hwatin chedos nil Auto Governor Michelle Lujan Grishin na kidamoye dan de kuigoshin trote sto atkhniya do beskis na hosas net do diwe US 491-64 bridge hajo alchedo ni khanengi a hot en hidini donle atin and the Arizona atinigi hajo alchedo ni khanengi toa hot da dini donjuno na khayin dol nishoshite to she shita shipita to nisho yen kelna hasne. Although Navajo Nation teacher Stephen at City visited the Pinyon Plan uranium mine, they at Grand Canyon bigat the athlete so sa hanada hoto kieto sa the nebekaya bakaw teen bakaw nada kedo nanigi den niya to ha ishebidina hotanot and ke hojit nebekaya bakaw to da need zinda nke atin bakaw na gehegi to da need zinda no ye na os kan jut o di late so ha kedigi to the nebekaya bakad nte atin bakaw tar loket nanigi hodoship sizinigi to ta hey ha yuya and kitsa the net kital ya do aho yanda sha itat is koto aho yanda hada hot ke kaya ta nada dil chonligi ebidina hoto belketlin da hosil net do large shanal nishigi Adana Randem, the Coconino County Supervisor Lena Fowler, the Ada Taholonde Ishim, the Nebekea Bakabe in the seeds. In a gashon, Hata Dosindo Leha, no, Yeshi Yitin Dahasnep. Ado Hodananigi meet and greets, Hanenigi Hadala, the Nebeketa Doshni, do yat the Bedini. Navajo Nation Welcome Baby Celebration. Hodoya First Lady, Ado First Things First, and Navajo Breastfeeding Coalition, do the Quigoshim. Quiet Satit Lesto and the Amatas, Lingido and the Away and the Has Chinigi. That Nils and do Beni Natch at the Quigoda, Baby Bacada, the was had no Nantendo, away the Bigetest, Egido, away no Setigi. Whenley Winterrock Scouts Arena, the Quishi standard of Chian 500 Honelanha East do, the Nebestan Johnny do, the Nebo Washington, the Chinias do, away the Nado no Setigi, Ada Nalsos del Taigido, and Tenigido, Todeta. Ye can't die, where's a salim, although a stoma, though a jet and lean hahaskagi, coloring books, diapers, baby wipes, lotions, that, and again, the quigoshi, baby car that is, or though car seats, that, and again, although biddy baby foods, that, and again, wet chinyan, that, and again, they eat in and linigi that dito, chinias no setigi away, as they banda, kaigi yego. Ado baby CPR that enigido chiyan doyadat ehigido chiyan yat ehigi nantin bedal tangido to puppet show no the Ado baby parade as the cutest baby nenigida chubbiest cheeks do the queer shinjano we had that zago hashi amato jado masanado naladan linigi a first lady that but in annehi the chinias away ba hayanigi nantin besins enigi sin kishat that need hona hot ehshin janon schado le lauda hona hot ahead 2000 honela the nedan dahito a had do lesto nishin arota is not saying nikinan tin daholonigi to hate or a shin nan roigi a had kidini do list Navajo prep that and again Cashin and Dahones Nanigi state basketball champions girls and boys at Nanigi say gon hiat eto niketa aliado certificates to the quigoshin at that hegi bashas hojonto. Congratulations to Navajo prep Eagles boys and girls state champions no Navajo Nation President's Office in KGAK. All upcoming events in the coming week. Join me tomorrow at Winterrock High School for the coding event. It's in 5th and 6th graders. Based in KCZY, beni nache itahos ato beni nache etat enigi. So it's a STEM field event. Hot count Friday go ada kahon slodo letro shohorobansis kese chinias nada no setigi patient sick kesigi ye del nish nasty ye discount no na nishat egi ye kit de catholic no Winterrock High School de ebesho coding event. Aro this weekend lo bedasni gatherings of nations ad atkhana shadole. Horse parade, Grand Marshal, Khadile, no, she Albuquerque, the Asim, Trashis, Wastole, Aro Ada, the Shin Yat Eta, Hiddi, Nislog, Johnny at Hegido, Hoshi, that do Craigie, Dada Hoslion, Masanadon, Kitchedon, Cashinda. The Hayugi been in Natchip. Hajodo late Hanegi, Ado stop Kahat and Kildini doles. Roya, Dr. Boo Nygren, Navajo Nation President Hanen Kitch, Anana Shlado Lesto, Hoja the Mo na ot leso, Bohone, Anit Ohodo, Hanen Kitch, Enish, Ito, Shikiat Ehodo, Nanishada the Sodo, Anigi the Nebenant Abe shit, Nenegi, Hato late. Here we Jinnahan, this case, Nan Nishto, Hate Ola Haila, Nana Lia, Nenegi. A had all this, I wrote more na Ashley on Shoro, Kiss Nahote Shnu, how the Shin, Kadan Nahagido, how the Shin is Sangi. Yat Eton, Junon, Gina, Zutlo, do up in Anit, oh, Nana Tatole, do Hehe, do Hagone.
Good afternoon. This is Michael Anderson, your Executive Division Director for Public Safety, as appointed by Dr. President Nygren. I want to say happy April 11th, or April, what is today? Anyway, in the past, I've always talked about law enforcement, but I want to talk about one specific department that I've kind of overlook every time. But they're an integral part of what our law enforcement department takes care of, and that's our internal affairs. Our internal affairs is a specialized investigative unit within the Navajo Division of Public Safety that provides and conducts complex administrative investigation on complaints involving misconduct of public safety personnel, and or on special requests at times and approval, providing investigation services to other programs within the Navajo Nation. Misconduct is defined as improper or unlawful behavior by an employee to regards to his or her position. The Internal Affairs has recently completed their CVSA, the Computer Voice Stress Analyzer. All department police sergeants are certified as examiners, and the CVSA is a widely used computer software program in truth verification. The CVSA detects, measures, and quantifies and or displays in real time changes in the human voice to see if a test subject is not being truthful. So it really helps in their investigations when they're conducting these important tasks. The device is not only used on employees, but it could also be used on complaints when somebody's providing incorrect information or in fact is lying about the complaint that they're bringing forward, and witnesses that come in. Sometimes the witness may not necessarily be truthful in their presentation. So it really helps to use that with the different individuals that are part of that investigation. The Internal Affairs has recently participated in a recruitment drive, which is an important part of the Division of Public Safety, really trying to increase personnel across the board in all 7 division or departments under the Division of Public Safety. That not only includes law enforcement, patrol, criminal investigations, internal affairs, but also the Department of Corrections, fire and rescue, EMS or ambulance drivers and EMTs, paramedics, as well as our Department of Emergency Management. We're looking to see our DEM, for that matter, has increased up to 10. Initially started out with 2. We're up to 10 and really would like to bring on 2 more additional people at least within the next couple months. So we're working towards that accomplishment. But Internal Affairs has been doing a recruitment drive by helping Navajo Police Department's recruitment booth and testing for potential applicants by conducting their physical agility tests. So we would encourage those individuals, if you think that you want to become a member of the Navajo Nation Division of Public Safety, please contact us. Look at the websites that they have on Facebook, especially the Navajo Nation Training Police Academy. It gives you information as to where to go and who to contact. Our EMS, Emergency Medical Services, also has a website on Facebook. And you can contact either Chrissy Largo with the police department or Joshua Allison with the EMS. So we're looking for new people, and we encourage you, if you know somebody or you yourself are interested in becoming a member of the Division of Public Safety, we really could use you. Don't hesitate to contact us and see how maybe we can work together. Going back to in internal affairs, they've done final selection occurred after looking at some RMS software, records management software. The effort department to change from paper to digital is really moving forward, so we're really happy about that. It gives us the opportunity to move into a new way of maintaining records. With the technology upgrade, currently department maintains paper cases dating back to 1979. Digital software for the records management system also provides for digital storage of case files needed to help with the workflow of the investigations, case review, research, on background requests, and provide an early warning on employee misconduct. So we're really looking forward to using a Pro Phoenix software that's been selected, and that's going to really help the department. I wanted to also highlight one particular individual going back into law enforcement, one of our administrative staff members, Rasita Benali, who's been with the Division of Public Safety for 18 years. Her experience includes several professional services positions in public safety as a telecommunication operator, a criminal information system specialist, and a PSAP supervisor, and currently works with our Missing and Murdered Indigenous Peoples liaison program in law enforcement. Rasita just recently graduated from the FBI Citizens Academy. The Citizens Academy helps bridge a community outreach specialist, both in law enforcement at the local level and then at the federal level, to help create and strengthen relationships with a diverse group of people, especially out here on Navajo. Gives us an opportunity to connect with the different groups of people and allow for not just law enforcement, but citizens, administrative staff like Rasita, to be able to help accomplish these investigations or give information and provide a liaison opportunity, not only between the local agencies, but through other departments, other divisions, other agencies across the Navajo Nation. So we're really proud of Rasita and her accomplishment of graduating from the FBI Citizens Academy. We look forward to how she's going to strengthen our staff at the Division of Public Safety. That's kind of my report for this week. Again, I appreciate everybody's support. Please, when you get a time, make sure you take the time to recognize your local member of the Division of Public Safety. And that may be a police officer, patrol officer out there in uniform. They could be law enforcement. They could be in Department of Corrections. They could be in Fire and Rescue. They could also be in our firefighters, as well as our emergency management. They're all part of an important part of our program at the Division of Public Safety, providing just that public safety for our communities. With that, I want to say again, my name is Michael Anderson. Twitchi in Shlo na KNDN Bashishin. Ashin da Shichedo, Twa Hanan da Shanala. Ya Tehnana.
Good afternoon. Yat A. She Ya Bobby and Baldwin Dashijine. Nash Daja touching in Son Twahana Bashishin, Bimpa 28 Ashiche, Ado Ashin Dashanala, Ado Shanalishigi A. Ya Salazzo, Salazzo Banash Nishto, Executive Director Dashanalishto. Ako Salazzo Nishle, United States Marine Corps. Ako Didi Gin Twishnegi A. Ya. Pahot in o aro nihinal nishigi haisha dat ehte nagfushne doles. Altsegi eya Veterans Trust Fund dajanenegi edigi nagfushne doles lay Central Agency edigi dab balance egi eya Veterans Trust Fund bigit $85,991.48 upon it at the Yitsi. Auto Eastern Agency ADG Veterans Trust Fund balance $249,732.86. You see, Auto 45th Agency A Nana $157,622.22 at the Itzito. Auto Northern Agency Nana A Babalansigi A $154,310.61 at the Itzito. Nana Kero Negi A Ya Western Agency A $169,820.19 at the Itzi. Akodigi balance at Egi A Ya $817,477.36 at the Itzi. Ako ni Hisalato auto surviving spouses Igisto auto Gold Star mothers basically Ashon in Kedo agency offices there. Ara digi nana in which negi aya ni have vacancies like ni have to lay tona nest is it veteran services officers like needs in so auto housing specialists like so we're asking veterans and community members to please apply for our positions out in Western Agency as far as the veteran services officers and the housing specialists for Western Agency. In Central Agency, we have a full staff there, and in Northern Agency, we're seeking a housing specialist to be fulfilled there as well. And then in Fort Defiance Agency, we are seeking an office specialist and an account maintenance specialist there. So we are asking for your help. If you're interested or know someone who may be qualified, please have them apply. And we're willing to teach, so we welcome our veterans to apply for these positions as well. As far as with their more projects that we do have a beautification project for the Navajo Nation Veterans Memorial Park coming up on April 24th and 25th. We will be beautifying the park with more planting, flowers, and more landscaping there as well. So I invite each of the veterans and their families to come out and give a hand in beautifying our park. We will be providing a light lunch during those 2 days, and we will be also having a rededication of our Veterans Memorial Park on our Memorial Day, which is scheduled on the 27th, on April 27th. So we look forward to having you all there. Lastly, we do have a number of veteran service officers and accredited team members who are able to help veterans to apply. I encourage all veterans to apply for what we call the KGAK. If you've ever been stationed in any of the government bases, you may be qualified for the KGAK. We have individuals who once thought they wouldn't be qualified, but being stationed in Camp Lejeune and the contaminated waters there, they did become qualified and have been deemed 100% disabled based on their exposure there. Additionally, with service members or as service members, if we had children who were born with certain disabilities or skin conditions such as eczema, psoriasis, or learning disabilities or neurological disabilities, please apply for the PAC Act. You and your children may be qualified for benefits. Reach out to your local agency offices. The contact information is on our website, and apply for these because you and your children have been exposed to these particular contaminations, and we want to make sure that our families and our veterans are taken care of. So please apply for the PAC Act. There's a wide array of conditions associated with the exposure, so please apply. I encourage everyone to apply for the PAC Act. And then lastly, before my time runs out here, is that I wanted to also inform everyone that there is a Veterans Legal Clinic that will be happening in Albuquerque on May 21st from 8:30 to 11. That information will be posted at your local agency veterans offices. And we did celebrate the gifting or the granting of a home to most recently Miss Tony Mina. She is a Navy veteran out in Jedito, so we offer her the utmost blessings for her new home, and we ask that anyone who is applying for a home, please come on in, sit down with our housing specialist so that we may get you on our housing list. The requirements for this is a DD-214, a CIB, an ID, your home site lease document, your archaeological clearance documents, and your biological clearance documents. And we ask everyone to please come on in. If you need help with any of these documents or understanding the process, we're here to help you, and we look forward to meeting with each of you so that you may be able to get this done. One last thing that we wanted to share is also we will be having a stand down event on May 18th here in Window Rock, Arizona. And we ask anyone who is looking for resources, whether it be financial resources, educational resources, looking for employment, we ask you to please come on out on May 18th. We'll be having our stand down event, and we look forward to meeting you and helping you and your family, or better educating you and your family on any of the resources out there that is available to each of our veterans and their families. Bobby and Baldwin
Yat A. Good afternoon. Jay Stephen Brian Edsity Nshia. To he glini nishle ashi he edish ja. Twitchi nears another auto what's what native che. I am your executive director for the Navajo Nation Environmental Protection Agency. Right up at the top of my discussion with you all today, here on the Navajo Nation and across the United States and hopefully across the world, people are still engaged in celebration of our Mother Earth activities. I just want to say on behalf of everyone at Navajo Nation EPA, we are very thankful for all the initiative that people take on April 22nd every year to recognize the importance of where we live, the ground that we walk on, this wonderful Mother Earth that provides us with our livelihood and sustains us and keeps us hopeful for the future. So continue, please, to develop your initiatives, your plans for next year's event, and also remind yourselves, your colleagues, your family, your children, every day is Earth Day. So thank you for this year's events. We look forward to continuing to help everybody with their ideas and plans for Earth Day 2025 next year. I also would like to highlight a few things that have been happening in my part of the administration and the things that I have been focusing on. We have ongoing work to clean up abandoned uranium mines, and there have been a lot of reports in the press locally about several of these cleanup projects. I first want to mention that we have some mines in the Mariano Lake chapter area, Smith Lake chapter area. There's 7 of them, and they have gone through a public review and public comment process. The plans and the options or alternatives that the United States government and the responsible parties for these mines, these private companies that are responsible for helping to clean up, they put out technical documents that we refer to as engineering evaluations and cost analysis. They were out for public comment in the month of, ever since December of 2023. The comment period on these group of mines closed on March 8th last month. And so what is happening now is that the United States Environmental Protection Agency is analyzing your public comments, and we will be scheduling a government-to-government consultation with the U.S. EPA Region 9 Superfund program. That government consultation is a combination of our Navajo Nation executive branch, which includes my office, as well as our legislative branch, which is primarily the Resource and Development Committee as the oversight committee over the Navajo Nation EPA. Together, we sit down with US EPA and we go over their decision-making process, and primarily focusing in on how they are analyzing your comments and how it will be factored into their decision. So that will be coming up very soon. We hope to schedule a date in May. And then after that, EPA will then move towards making a final decision on which alternative they will use to then begin cleaning up these 7 mines in the Mariano Lake chapter area. So I want to thank everybody who has submitted public comments during this important process. Your participation, your voice is very important. I just would like to highlight that we've been through this at least one previous time last year. We did one public comment period in Western Agency near the community of Cameron. At the close of that one, we had a total of 22 public comments. So we're hoping that every time we go through this process, we will obtain more and more of your interest, and we will hopefully see more and more of your comments and your thoughts and your input to be a part of these decisions that are so important and critical to our communities. I also would like to say that anyone can comment. While these mines are located in specific areas and regions of our Navajo Nation, the impacts of these reach broadly across our entire nation. And so I encourage everybody who has a concern, even if you don't live near a mine that's being scheduled for cleanup, you can learn about these issues and you can provide your informed comments. So we look forward to that. We do have another set of mines that are currently out for public comment and review right now. Those mines are in the Coyote Canyon, the southern reaches of the Coyote Canyon chapter, north of Church Rock chapter, near the convergence of Church Rock, Standing Rock, and Pinedale and Church Rock chapter boundaries. That mine is called the Quivira mine. We also have several other mines, 2 other mines near Casimira Lake. And the name of those mines are the Section 3233 mines. They are currently open for public comment right now. Those decision documents, the EECA documents, are out for review, and this public comment period will close on May 22nd next month. So we encourage you to get informed, and if you need assistance, please contact my office. Our website is navajoepa.org, and you can contact our Superfund program, or you can go onto the US EPA's website as well and type in US EPA Navajo AUM in your search bar, and you will get to those documents. I do want to highlight that one of the main issues with this current public comment and with these two, specifically these 2 mines, the Quivira mine and the Section 3233 mines, there is a very huge concern about an option that currently includes disposing of waste at the Red Rocks landfill in Theroux, New Mexico. My office, council delegates, and local chapter leadership and community members have weighed in on this, and they are going to continue to comment on it from all angles, from supporting that type of option and also to opposing it. And so I will be continuing to work with my staff and our oversight committee and the leadership in the Eastern Navajo Land Commission to sort through these issues and hopefully approach our colleagues at the state of New Mexico, US EPA Region 9 and US EPA Region 6 out of Dallas, Texas, to address the issues that are coming to light, especially in our Eastern Navajo Agency and within the communities just outside of Navajo in New Mexico. I want to also just report that this past weekend in Tuba City, the US EPA held a listening session where there was a public forum that was offered for folks who could get there to the meeting to provide more input on any aspect of the ongoing process where we're addressing abandoned uranium mine cleanup and any issues. We had about 40 people from the community. We had about 40 people from government agencies meeting at the Moenkopi Legacy Inn in Tuba City, Arizona. We had a 4-hour session. I want to thank the US EPA Headquarters Office of Office of Land and Emergency Management, along with folks from Region 9, as well as staff from United States Senator Mark Kelly's office, our new BIA Navajo Regional Director, Ms. Shirley, for showing up there, and specifically the Cameron chapter president was also with us that day. And we had a great dialogue and heard a lot of comments, supportive comments, as well as critical comments. So I'm looking to continue to work with the US EPA to have more of these public forums available in the next coming months throughout the next year. In fact, one of the other things that we'll be highlighting in the future, very near, is the follow-up report from this meeting. It was recorded, so if people weren't able to get there, there'll be a record that you can access. And we'll continue to work with US EPA and anyone else that wants to be a part of these discussions to make sure that your voice can be part of these discussions. We want to just highlight one thing from the Senate, United States Senate, which again highlights work that's being done by our Senator Mark Kelly from the state of Arizona, along with Republican Senator Cindy Lummis from the state of Wyoming. They have introduced a bill called the Legacy Mine Cleanup Act of 2024 in the United States Senate. We're hoping that will get a Senate floor vote very soon. And the number of that bill is S.3858. It will greatly improve the accountability over all of our federal agencies that are addressing these issues regarding abandoned uranium mines. In particular, it will give us another opportunity to highlight the need for public health improvements, public health programs that may have been overshadowed by the ongoing work to clean up the mines. So there's a lot of things that the federal agency, the federal government has committed to, recognizing their responsibility to address all of the issues associated with the legacy of abandoned uranium mines that was created in the 20th century and that we continue to feel the impacts from here on our Navajo Nation. Lastly, yesterday, I would like to report that Navajo EPA helped facilitate a site visit from our United States Department of Health and Human Services leadership. We had the Admiral Levine, Deputy Secretary for DHHS and her staff, along with the Indian Health Service Director Rosalind So, Gallup Indian Medical Service Director, CEO, all come out to the Redwater Pond Road community just north of Church Rock. And we gave them time to discuss some of the health issues that people who live right next to the Quivira mine, right next to the Northeast Church Rock mine, and who live right next to the United Nuclear Corporation General Electric Superfund site, which was the old uranium mill right there. So these people have been living with all of these exposures and impacts and had a chance to talk about their health concerns with these leaders of our public health directorship and department from the federal government. We're hoping that we have some great follow-up from that event, and we look forward to working with that Redwater Pond Road Community Association for their continued needs and for other communities who are impacted in similar manners. We hope to highlight for our federal partners the concerns that you all have. I want to wrap up my time here by also acknowledging that yesterday was Administrative Professionals Day, and just give a shout out to my staff and all of the administrative professionals within the Navajo Nation government and all of our partners. You do such a great amount of work in supporting all of the activities and the important work that happens here. I just would like to highlight with the Navajo EPA, I've given a directive to convene amongst our administrative staff on a regular basis so that that element and that level within our organization has a voice directly to my office for all of their concerns. I think that part of the organization within any governmental structure is such a key to getting things done, because many of our administrative professionals just know about everything that needs to be known about how to get things done. So I always have a great amount of respect for our administrative professionals. So I want to say thank you again for everything you do. And with that, I will be signing off.
Yate, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Controller Sean McCabe, and I'm happy to be reporting. You all can see I'm in my car. I'm actually on my way back to Winderock from Gallup, where I met with members of the executive team and the BIA on some important funding issues and other things that I'll get into more detail here in a second. But again, good afternoon. Yate Shike Doshidane, Sean McCabe Yanishe, Ashe Nishle, Touch It Nibasish Chin, Kia Ani Deshache, and Ashe Dashanale. Again, thank you for the time to visit with those of you tuning in the great Navajo Nation. There's a few things that I'd like to bring us all up to speed on, some updates. First and foremost, yesterday was Administrative Professionals Day. I want to thank all of our great Navajo Nation administrative professionals for really being the ones that keep the offices in order and keep the lights on for us and make sure things continue to move. I know in my office, without my admin professionals, it would be a lot harder to do the things that we do. So a hat to all of you. Thank you for all the work that you do and for our Navajo people. So some updates I'd like to speak to you about. Admittedly, since February, a lot of my time has been in this much talked about ARPA reallocation plan. That started happening, it's got to be 4 or 5 months ago now. And really taking the lead and working directly with the 25th Navajo Nation Council, particularly the Budget and Finance Committee under the leadership of Chair Shundeen Parrish, Vice Chair Carl Slater, Delegate Crotty, Delegates Norman Begay and Azaret and Yazi. Really happy to be working with them. And of course, members of the Navajo Nation executive team, really starting to formulate a plan. What spurred a lot of this is the Navajo Nation is starting to run up on federal deadlines to get what amounts to about $1.3 billion left to spend in ARPA funding. Those of you tuning in probably wonder about things like hardship and other things. And it should be noted and should be understood that the rules have changed with ARPA as we move further and further away from the emergency years of 20 to 21 with the COVID-19 pandemic. And so hardship would have been or will be a lot more difficult to administer. And so what we've decided to do is figure out a plan just so that we minimize the risk of giving money back to the federal government. That's the last thing we want to do. It would be a waste of resources and efforts if we end up having to give back money to the federal government. So we're close to putting together. In fact, my next meeting here in about an hour and a half, actually about a half an hour, will be to talk about a reallocation legislation that will be dropped soon. I can report to you that under the current legislation, of course, it still has to go through the council, so subject to amendments and other things, but the chapter projects are being protected. Chapters don't have to worry about losing any of their original funding, and in fact could receive more funding in the current plan to do local projects, etc. One of the president's priorities is housing, and there's a good chunk of them leftover money to address that, as well as water projects and other infrastructure initiatives. And so we're happy that it seems to us that we're coming up with a good plan to make sure that we get these dollars out the door and spent before any deadlines. There is a concept that the U.S. Treasury has allowed us called the revenue loss concept. Some of you may have heard of it, and there's maybe some confusion around it. It essentially allows the Navajo Nation to reimburse itself for government service expenditures over the past 3 years during the pandemic years and put that money back in the general fund for allocation to projects. Um, right now, the plan is to put the chapter projects into that fund so that the chapter projects now are no longer subject to ARPA deadlines and other restrictions such as audit. So just to clarify, if there was any confusion on what we're trying to do with that money, we're taking all the steps necessary to make sure that those monies get out and spent for the purposes that they were intended for. We did have a meeting directly, and I want to thank the United States Treasury. I want to thank the Navajo Nation Washington office that arranged a meeting directly with the U.S. Treasury, and that occurred on Friday. We had members of the 25th Navajo Nation Council, myself, and other members of the executive branch on directly with representatives of the United States Treasury, including Lynn Malerba, who we thank for being on. And at this meeting, we just posed questions to the Treasury based on some of the plans that we have with the money, just to make sure we're in compliance with Treasury guidelines, Treasury rules, etc. I think we got the clarification that was needed, and we're starting to move forward with the plan that we've come up with. So hopefully we'll be making announcements soon. Those of you that like to tune in publicly, this will all still go through council legislation, etc. So tune in to get more details on that as we move forward. But in general, it is good to report that the chapter monies that were allocated are staying intact. Council projects are still on the agenda to move forward, and in fact, potential reallocation of some of the funds for further chapter. But that again is up to the council. So one of the other things I know I've reported in the past couple of times that I've been on is the new accounting / ERP system. We have selected a vendor for this. We are now starting to go into contract negotiations, and we are beginning to really move forward with what this will really do. It's a capital investment into the Navajo Nation, but it really brings all of our processes up to 21st century capabilities. And the Navajo Nation will start moving into a more paperless process, which inherently will cut down on a lot of this overburdened system we have, and overburdened processes and policies and procedures that slow down payments. One of the things I reported to BIA today, one of the things we were talking about is the Navajo Nation's lack of funding. And so we have some of our representatives lobbying for more funding from the BIA right now over at the meetings in Gallup, but also the Navajo Nation's inability to spend the monies that we received. And I reported to BIA the same thing that I'll report to you right now, and that is the Navajo Nation has a very complicated policy and procedure process that has been subject to many different rules and regulations over the years, and it's just built up to this process that is not workable for the Navajo Nation and the Navajo people. And as a result, we delay money that was meant for certain purposes. And the way I reported to BIA today, and I report to you all, is, to us, we're following a bunch of policies and procedures. We're filling out paperwork. But the longer we delay these monies, the longer, a child that needs their child care payments is waiting for that money. It's the longer a mother who's waiting for their WIC benefits is waiting for that money. The longer our people are waiting for roads, the longer our people are waiting for houses, the longer our students are waiting for scholarship awards. And the list goes on and on and on. And so part of what we're trying to do with this new accounting system, moving ourselves into more 21st century type technology, is to really cut down on a majority of the percentage of time it takes to process these things. I have to tell you all that are listening that I see the public comments. I hear them at the council. Your delegates are speaking directly to the Office of the Controller, which I appreciate. And I know, knowing what I know and the years of experience that I have as a CPA, which is upwards of 30 years now, I know that the problems that exist on Navajo are all internal problems, or, well, not all, but 95% are restrictions that we place on ourselves, and they're not federal restrictions, and we have to undo them. And that's the good news, because they're internal restrictions. We can easily undo them and not break any rules or any regulations by the federal government. And so I've been working closely with Budget and Finance Committee, the executive branch, and the council to really start unraveling this process and get monies out to where they should be. So stay tuned for that. Those will be issues that'll be coming up to the council as well. I think I've been on for about 10 minutes now. But again, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to come home and help my expertise and bring it back home and help the Navajo Nation. Hopefully, when these things start to come online, a lot of these issues that seem to plague our people with monies not going to where they should be will come to a halt, and we'll start getting money out the door to where it's needed, and that's to our local communities, et cetera, and our people. So again, thank you all very much. Thank you, President Nygren. Thank you, members of the 25th Navajo Council. Thank you, Vice President Rochelle Montoya. Thank you all, and then we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.